Yesterday at tea time there was a question just regarding a conversation that had occurred about with I guess someone in a Christian tradition, Christian dialogue, Christian Buddhist dialogue, or a Christian tradition about whether one can, at least as they were expressing in this other tradition, equating the vast love of God or vast love in general with emptiness, and is that possible to do? To kind of establish a relationship or an equivalency, or are they the same thing? Which is, of course, as Lopai answered, it's really hard to know what is in the minds of the people with the questions and their experience in that kind of a situation. But it just kind of reminded me that even in the Buddhist tradition, there's a lot of maybe slight differences of how the concept of emptiness is held, and knowing what a person is even thinking about when they're using the word emptiness or empty. And I was also reminded of an incident way many years ago, probably 25, well, maybe 20 years ago at least, when there was an Anagarika here who was no longer in the community, left right at that time, who was kind of traversing in some sort of mental realms that he interpreted as being completely enlightened. And I remember one of his comments when he was kind of hovering in the monk's room there, just kind of staring into space. And I asked him what was going on, what's happening for him, and he just said, "I'm dwelling in emptiness." And I thought, oh gosh. And that was his experience, but from obviously a gross misunderstanding of what that meant, and also the fact that he was in some pretty clearly delusional state, and he ended up kind of freaking out in the next couple of days and ended up leaving. Unfortunately, it was a kind of a sad situation of some kind of experience that he conflated with spiritual attainment. But so emptiness, isn't a vacuous, absolutely nothing, no state of mind. It, at least in the traditions that I've heard it, when I've heard it described most clearly, it's basically just referring to an emptiness of the sense of self, and not holding that kind of sense of subject and object in a solid way in one's experience. So you have to know what you're empty of. Just like this bottle here, refill when empty. Kind of have to. If you're going to refill your emptiness with something, you have to kind of know what it was that you got rid of. But we're not looking to if we experience a little bit of sense of an experience or an insight of not self, we're not looking to refill it with more of the same. But that generally tends to happen naturally anyway, until we've kind of realized the goal of the path completely. Just to be wary of how we use these terms and what they mean and how we experience them, and not to get too lost into academic conjecture and comparison of different kinds of states of mind, but just to realize that something like emptiness or not self is an understanding or an experience or a shift in perception, rather than any kind of absolute attainment of becoming established in some sort of exalted state of mind that one works to achieve or one works to attain. That it's just a gradual understanding that arises as one starts to clear out the obstructions. So that's what we're all here to do, is just clearing out the obstructions one by one. That's if we keep our focus there, noticing when unskillful, unwholesome mind states arise, working to apply our energy and our effort into abandoning those, letting those go, letting them fade away, and encouraging the wholesome ones, then these kinds of understandings of these more esoteric teachings will start to manifest and appear on their own. But we can just keep our attention focused on what's actually arising in experience right now, and working towards abandoning the unwholesome and developing the wholesome, and see what comes from that. So I'll leave it there.